This is my take of Aretha Franklin's Chain of Fools, the best one-chord song ever. Prove me wrong if you can. In this video, I want everyone to learn something. It doesn't matter how long you've played the guitar. If you're a beginner, it doesn't matter. How far you'll be able to take it, it's all up to you. There will be easy things, and you can take it further and further and further. First thing we'll go over is the bass line. The original song is in C minor. I chose to play it in A minor so that I have a lower bass line. Could have played it with a capo on the 3rd fret, but that becomes too high pitch. It's almost like a Joe Pesci's version of it, so no. So you basically only need 3 notes. 5th string open, A. 6th string open, E. And 6th string on the 3rd fret, G. You'll repeat the A. Something that you can use, you can get used to right now is to play the G with your index finger. I like doing this. You don't need to, but when I play it faster, I have the feeling that I like this movement. And as you saw, you will need these 2 beats with the thumb on the top strings. You don't need to go crazy here, just lightly beat the strings and you'll have a nice sound. So 2 beats between these 4 notes now that we're repeating the A. So first the A, slap, A, E, G, slap. A, slap, A, E, G, slap, A. The first note is a pickup note. That means it starts before the bar begins. The bar is a 4/4 bar, which means we count to 4 in each bar. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. In this case, we have a rhythm full of eighths. So we have also the notes in between. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And the first note begins between 4 and the next one. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3. And now the whole thing. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2 and. If you can start correctly, the rest goes almost by itself. After the beat on 2, these beats are always either on 2 and on 4 or both. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So you play every 8th note between the 2 and the last beat before the 1, the and before the 1. One thing you can do to spice it up a little bit more is this power chord. This is your typical AC/DC A power chord. What you'll do is, with your thumb, you'll mute the E string, the top one. With your index finger, press on the 4th string on the 3rd fret, and you mute everything below it so that we only hear the A and this E on the D string. You can do a little bar here so that you also have this note on the G string on the 2nd fret. Sometimes while playing this song, I play with the thumb, index finger, middle finger of the right hand, or I do this, as if I'm holding an invisible pick. I'm playing mostly with the index finger. The thumb here is just giving support. So. So let's now add the chorus melody to this bass line. You don't need to go crazy as I did with all the bands, pull-offs, slides, and hammer-ons. Just leave it all out. Let's begin in a very simple way. This is the bass line. I would highly recommend leaving out the first G for you to avoid this here. If that's easy for you, great. If it isn't, let's just keep it. And now you'll start the bass line and then break it down step by step. E string with a C now, that is the B string on the first fret, all together, both. And then we're leaving the G bass out. We'll play this note alone, and then A string and E string together. If you only do this at the correct timing, it'll sound like this. Leaving out the G in the bass is barely noticeable. If you're playing it consistently in all other cases, if you just leave it out once, no one will notice. So let's move forward. Can you do the individual steps? E string and E string, first and sixth together. The bottom string stays open. E string, the top one on the third fret. Slap. A string open, B string on the third fret. And then this C alone, that is the B string on the first fret. So very slow now. If you can groove playing this riff, you're already in the fingerstyle jamming territory. If you play it rhythmically, either with a metronome or with a guitar profile that I put on my Patreon page. Check it out. Guitar profile makes it easier because you can listen to the melody while playing along. You can reduce the speed to a speed that barely makes sense anymore, but you'll still be hearing the MIDI file playing, so you know what note you're supposed to play. You're looking at the score while it's going. So a song like this is 100 and 500, 110 BPM. You lower it to 20, I don't know, as low as you need, and you'll be listening to the note playing. Playing with a metronome on 20 is really hard, but with the guitar profile, it's much better. So make sure you download the file on my Patreon page. So now let's add back a couple of techniques that we left out. For example, a hammer-on, right at the end. This hammer-on shouldn't be a note that shifts the whole thing rhythmically. It's more like an ornament. Instead of playing like this, you do. To do a hammer-on, you play the first note, and your left hand does the rest. You don't need to do it with a lot of strength. Just be very precise where you're landing. The pull-off that you're gonna need right afterwards is the opposite. Pull the string, as the name says, a little bit downward, but not so that you touch the string below very hard. Just enough. That's a pull off, but right now, just stick to the hammer-on. And now, right after the hammer-on, just pull the pull-off there. Much slower if you need. If you add this slide now, it'll sound great. This is a typical Tommy Emmanuel or Mateus Assado lick. Sounds amazing. It could be challenging to play it rhythmically along with the riff, which is why either a metronome or a guitar profile is so important. Now the last thing to consider here is to add the bend to it. It's a very cool technique, a very important one, but a challenging one in this case. 4th fret, B string, a halftone bend, so not very high compared to the full bend. You want to reach the note of the following fret. And to keep the intonation while playing the bass line is kind of a challenge, but we're here to be challenged, so that's fine. And as you noticed, if you're playing the bend and you want to keep playing this G here on the bass, you'll need to either use one of these fingers, the index finger, while you're doing it. So it's tough if the index finger was helping up until this point. I lose intonation sometimes if I do it. So that's why I prefer to use my thumb. If that's not possible for you, just work on this technique. It's possible, you just gotta get used to it. An acoustic guitar like this has a thin fretboard. So it may be possible for most of you to reach the 6th string with the thumb. But if both are very challenging, do as we did in the beginning, just leave this note out. If you leave it out a couple of times, no one will notice if you play it diligently all other times. So this is the lick, slowly. And to spice it up a little bit more, the second time I play it, I put my index finger 1 string below. That's easier to do than to go upwards towards the bass. Just go downwards to the 3rd fret of the E string. Sounds great. And you can even vary the intonation for this one. It's a very nice effect. So I close the chorus with this pentatonic lick. That's one time where I avoid playing the G as the bass. Probably one of 2 times in the entire song. So that this lick is possible. It would be possible playing the G, but that's such an effort. So I avoid it. Let's go over the pentatonic fingering first. This is what I'm using. A good exercise for your left hand, so you can work on your control of it, is to not mute the strings when they're played open, when you change strings, like this. That'll demand a perfect hand positioning, but for this case, you won't need it. So to take it one step further, you need to add the pull-offs. With this last pull-off here, make sure you prepare the AC/DC power chord and you sort of play it with this finger as you would with your right hand. With the bass, one tricky thing here is to pull off into the bass note. Make sure you're doing it on time, don't rush any of it. One thing you noticed is this ornament here. This shouldn't be seen as an additional note rhythmically. This lick has 9 notes. And it shouldn't sound like 10 notes once you add it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the ornament doesn't change anything. It's a pull-off from the first fret to the open string. So with all pull-offs, with this last one here, you pull from the A string downwards towards the D and the G string so that you get this power chord sound without you playing with your right hand. The left hand does all. Now with the bass. One important thing here, this note here, the ornamented D, is a snared note. That means it has to be emphasized in any way. What I do here is I play it with my middle finger, with the tip of the finger. All I do is I play a little harder while muting the top strings with my wrist. It sounds very rock and roll if you play it like this. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did and you want to continue this work, either learning the solo or creating a solo of your own, head out to my Patreon page where we continue this work.